Hello students and welcome back to the class. Today let us begin part 2 of module 4, which is idea generation and feasibility analysis. So first thing in the row is business opportunities. Now before identifying a business opportunity, you need to know the meaning of business opportunity, right? So basically a business opportunity is defined as a set of favorable circumstances that creates a need for a new product or service. I repeat, business opportunity is nothing but a set of favorable circumstances that creates a need for a new product or a service. Having said that, but before creating or identifying a business opportunity, there is a prerequisite that you need to have, and that prerequisite is called as an idea. So, before identifying any business opportunity or before creating it, you need to have something called as an idea, and then you can convert this idea into opportunity, which will eventually lead to the generation of business opportunity. Now, when do you think that your idea will become a business opportunity? So, the answer to this is a business idea becomes a good business opportunity when it has the following four essential qualities. The first is attractiveness, which means that your product should be impressive and attractive in order to engage more audience towards it. The next is timeliness. Third, durable, which means that your product has to be long lasting. And lastly, the quality of being anchored in a product or service that creates or adds value for its buyer or end user. So these are the four essential qualities which are very much required for any business idea to become a good business opportunity. Fine? Okay. Now, till here you know that idea is very much required to develop a business, isn't it? But now, how can one generate business ideas? So, even for the generation of business ideas, there are various methods that can be used. Few of them which are listed here are brainstorming, survey method, reverse brainstorming, and lastly we have the Gordon method. So what are these? These are nothing but the various methods that can be used for the generation of business ideas. Now let us look into each of these business ideas in detail in the next slide. So first we have brainstorming. Now what is brainstorming? It is basically a technique which is used to quickly generate a large number of ideas and solutions to problems. So the brainstorming session is basically conducted to generate ideas that might represent business opportunities. So it's basically a type of discussion that takes place among teams to either discuss a problem or generate ideas to expand your business. But one thing you need to remember here is that no negative points or criticism is allowed in this kind of discussion. So what happens in brainstorming is a set of people sit together and express their views or ideas on a certain topic, and all these ideas are taken positively, jotted down on a piece of paper, and then discussed on how we can take or discard the idea. Alright, so this was about brainstorming session. Then the next method is survey method. So as the name itself suggests, survey is nothing but collection of information, right? So even here in survey method, what happens is the survey method is basically used to collect information by direct observation of a phenomena or systematic gathering of data from a set of people. So surveys generate new products, services, and business ideas because they ask specific questions and get specific answers. So this is about survey method, wherein you are just going to collect information or data either from people about a business or an idea, or you're going to directly interact with the customers in order to know what are their needs, and according to their needs you're going to devise a product or a service. Then the next one is reverse brainstorming. So, this reverse brainstorming is basically a method that is similar to brainstorming with the exception that criticism is allowed. Now, if you remember, when I was talking about brainstorming, I told you that one thing that you have to remember in simple brainstorming session or discussion is that no negativity, negative points, or criticism is entertained. Whereas in reverse brainstorming, criticism is acceptable. So, it is therefore called as also negative brainstorming. Now, in this technique, the focus is basically on the negative aspects of every idea that has been generated through brainstorming, also called the sifting process. So, what is this reverse brainstorming also called as? It is called as a sifting process. Now, this process most often involves the identification of everything that is wrong with an idea, followed by a discussion of ways to overcome these problems. So, what is brainstorming? Simple brainstorming me what happens is you're just going to discuss your ideas and write it down whether it is feasible or not feasible. You're not going to comment on the negative aspects of that idea. Whereas in reverse brainstorming, you're just going to speak about the negative aspects of the idea which has been proposed. Not only this, you're also trying to devise solutions or how you can make this idea a better one to be acceptable. So this was about reverse brainstorming. Finally, we come towards the last method, which is called as the Gordon method. Now, this Gordon method is again a creative technique which is developed by A. F. Osborne to develop new ideas. Now, this Gordon method that I am talking about is similar to brainstorming, wherein collective discussion takes place. That is, even here, collective discussions are made, which basically addresses every aspect of the planned product in an open solution oriented way. For example, to devise a new pen holder, what the group does is the group discusses the holding theme and examines all possible meanings of this word and all possible examples of holding, such as items, nature, etc. The group will later sit and study each idea to see if any of them may be useful for the planning of a new pen holder. Now, this kind of discussion encourages a fresh, creative, and unusual approach to developing a new product. So, this was about your Gordon method. Then, the next topic of discussion is identification of business opportunities. So, how do you identify business opportunities? There are basically three general approaches that entrepreneurs use to identify an opportunity. They are observing trends, solving a problem, and finding gaps in the marketplace. Next is solving a problem. So, another approach to identifying a business opportunity is to recognize and solve a critical problem that customers are facing today. Now, from an entrepreneur's point of view, every problem is a disguised opportunity. Remember, for example, one of the most pressing problems that countries are facing today around the globe is finding alternatives for fossil fuels. As a result, a number of entrepreneurial firms have been and are still being launched to take on this challenge and prepare for the alternatives which can be best suited as an alternative to these fossil fuels. The last is finding gaps in the marketplace. So, the third approach to identifying business opportunities is to find a gap between what is needed by the customer and what is actually provided to the customer. Now, finding such gaps can help entrepreneurs develop new products and also to improve the existing ones. For example, over 3 decades ago, the lack of toy stores focusing on a child's intellectual development resulted in the development of Discovery Toys, which is nothing but a California based company specializing in educational toys, which help in developing children's intellectual ability and logical reasoning. So, this marks the end of Module 4. We shall continue with the fifth module in the next class. Thank you and have a nice day.